Today on MUFC Quintessence, we dive into the most chaotic pre-match team news of Ruben Amorim's reign. Just hours before Manchester United face Bournemouth, the club has been hit by a devastating triple blow. The shocking setback to Benjamin Sesko, the confirmed absence of two defensive titans, and the last-minute uncertainty over three crucial AFCON stars. This crisis has forced Amorim to plot what can only be described as an insane lineup, a tactical gamble that could either save the season or shatter our top four hopes. Welcome back to MUFC Quintessence. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell for all essential, high-quality Manchester United analysis as we break down the definitive team selection crisis ahead of this must-win fixture. The Sesko setback and the striker scandal. The headline news, and arguably the most perplexing, revolves around Benjamin Sesko. Just as the Slovenian striker looked set to make his triumphant return from a nagging knee injury that has sidelined him for over a month, the club was hit by a shocking non-football-related setback: food poisoning. Amorim confirmed the news in his pre-match press conference, stating that Sesko was suffering from an illness that rendered his availability completely uncertain, despite his knee injury recovery progressing well. This is more than just an absence. It is a full-blown striker crisis scandal. Sesko is the definitive focal point of Amorim's attack when fit. His height, pace, and clinical finishing are crucial elements in the manager's tactical blueprint. His initial knee injury, sustained against Tottenham, was a blow, but the sudden intervention of a preventable illness, reported widely as food poisoning, raises serious questions about player management and preparedness in a crucial week of fixtures. The timing is unforgiving, robbing Amorim of the one piece of offensive rotation he desperately needed before the festive season truly kicks off. Without Sesko, the entire burden of leading the line falls squarely back onto the shoulders of Matheus Cunha. Cunha has been tireless, showing flashes of brilliance, but the physical demands of playing every minute through a high-intensity run of games are now unsustainable. Amorim faces an impossible choice: run Cunha into the ground or rely on unproven alternatives like Joshua Zirkzee, who has had limited impact when called upon. The setback confirms that Amorim's attack will be operating at half strength against a resilient Bournemouth side, who have proven their ability to frustrate Manchester United in recent fixtures, winning the last two encounters at Old Trafford 3-0. This single unfortunate development has dramatically shifted the tactical preparation for the manager, forcing him to rethink every attacking substitution and movement he had planned. The triple AFCON chaos and the last-minute decision. Adding further layers of crisis to the situation is the unprecedented confusion surrounding the availability of three core Manchester United players who are due to depart for the Africa Cup of Nations, AFCON. Bryan Mbeumo, Amad Diallo, and Noussair Mazraoui are all confirmed to be joining their respective national teams, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, and Morocco. But the mandatory release date set by FIFA coincides precisely with the kickoff of the Bournemouth fixture. Amorim has publicly voiced his frustration, confirming that the club is engaging intense last-minute negotiations with the national federations to secure an extension that would allow the trio to participate. The issue is critical because these are not peripheral players. They are central components of Amorim's preferred 3-4-3 system. Mbeumo is the team's top goal contributor, Amad has cemented himself as the starting right wing-back, and Mazraoui is a crucial component of the back three, offering both defensive solidity and passing range. The dilemma for Amorim is agonizing. He must prepare two entirely different starting X's. One lineup includes the AFCON trio, utilizing their pace and creativity to exploit Bournemouth's flanks. The other, the insane lineup, must be constructed assuming all three are unavailable, forcing the manager to introduce raw youth and untested positional switches. The worst-case scenario is that the final decision on their availability, the green light or the red light, may not come until hours before the game. This inability to name a definitive team selection until the very last moment is a logistical nightmare for preparation, team talks, and morale. the uncertainty alone is a psychological burden on the players and the entire coaching staff, threatening to derail the focus required for a crucial home game. The sheer lack of clarity turns this clash into a potential minefield. The defensive catastrophe and the insane lineup. If the attacking and midfield worries weren't enough, the defensive spine of the team has been completely severed. Amorim confirmed that both first-choice center-backs, Matthijs de Ligt and Harry Maguire, are definitively out. Maguire continues his recovery from a thigh injury sustained before the November international break, while Amorim revealed that de Ligt is struggling with an undefined back problem despite having finished the Crystal Palace game. The manager admitted he does not know for sure when the Dutch international will return, underscoring the severity of the crisis. This mandatory double absence leaves Manchester United with a monumental defensive void. The back three must now be constructed entirely from emergency reserves and compromised returns. This is the genesis of Amorim's insane lineup. In the worst-case scenario, where the AFCON trio are gone and the main center-backs are out, Amorim is forced into a tactical gamble that few top managers would ever contemplate. The predicted insane lineup sees the defensive line consist of Luke Shaw at center-back, a perpetual emergency solution, a returning from injury Lisandro Martinez, risked far sooner than medically advisable, and either the unproven youth of Aiden Heaven or the sheer inexperience of Lenny Yoro. The risk of starting Martinez is the highest. The Argentine international has been out for approximately 9 months with a major ACL injury, and a high-stakes return in a compromised defensive unit is a gamble that could see him break down again. If he cannot start, the pressure mounts on Aiden Heaven or Yoro, who have already shown understandable moments of uncertainty in their limited first-team appearances. The absence of de Ligt's leadership and Maguire's defensive command cannot be understated. This patchwork defense will face a Bournemouth side, led by Irala, that is tactically disciplined and will ruthlessly target any lack of cohesion. This single, unfortunate development has dramatically shifted the tactical preparation for the manager, forcing him to rethink every attacking substitution and movement he had planned. The midfield and attacking gamble. The cascading crises in defense and up front force Amorim into further gambles across the pitch. Assuming Mbeumo and Ahmad are both unavailable, the attacking roles must be filled by players who have rarely featured in those specific positions. The front three would likely feature Matheus Cunha, possibly supported by Mason Mount and Joshua Zirkzee. Mount, while intelligent and smart in his movement, as Irala himself acknowledged, has lacked rhythm and is being relied on to provide the creative link Mbeumo usually guarantees. Zirkzee, who struggled during Sesko's initial absence, is now thrust into a critical starting role. The lack of natural width and pace without Mbeumo fundamentally changes how United can attack, making them more predictable through the center. In the wing-back positions, the loss of Ahmad, right wing-back, and the potential loss of Mazraoui, CB/RWB, means Diogo Dalot must occupy one flank, leaving the other side possibly to a completely untested academy prospect, or forcing a total system shape change. The central midfield remains the only area of relative strength, anchored by Casemiro and the indispensable Bruno Fernandes. Yet their solidity is compromised, as Casemiro's energy must be conserved due to a lack of adequate defensive midfield rotation. The responsibility now falls almost entirely on Bruno Fernandes. He is the single remaining constant source of world-class magic, creativity, and drive. If Bruno does not deliver a match-winning performance, the combined structural weaknesses, personnel compromises, and logistical nightmares threaten to hand Bournemouth an unprecedented third straight 3-0 victory at Old Trafford. The pressure on Amorim is immense. He has done well to navigate the start of the season, but this is the ultimate test of his ability to manage a full-blown crisis. The insane lineup is not a choice, it is a desperate necessity. Every Manchester United fan must now brace for a fixture defined not by tactical genius, but by sheer survival. Hit that like button, subscribe to MUFC Quintessence, and tell us in the comments, Who is the single most important player that must step up to save the season from this defensive and attacking crisis?